Hello everyone. In today's video, I'm going to share with you my experience on how to prepare and pass AWS Certified Advanced Networking on the first attempt. In this video, I'll cover about the exam, my preparation and study plan, important topics that appeared a lot in the exam, courses and study material, and time management. AWS Advanced Networking is one of the major AWS specialty certifications. This certification validates advanced technical expertise in networking architectures such as multi-region, hybrid environment that connect on-premises data centers to AWS, and large-scale AWS networking solutions. The exam duration is 170 minutes and with 65 questions cost $300. You can get 50% discount if you have a voucher from a previously passed AWS certification. In terms of difficulty, this exam has the reputation of being the most difficult AWS certification. Well, in my experience passing it from the first attempt, I feel there needs to be some clarification here. The actual challenge, especially if you do not have much experience in networking, comes from the quantity of knowledge and architectures you need to learn, but not necessarily from the question style itself. I found a recipe of cracking those type of exams, and I'll share it with you later in this video. Exam preparation and study plan. That was my last exam too. So I already have all the other certification passed and active. Preparation took me around 6 weeks. I do recommend setting a deadline, and a compact study plan is preferred here. I recommend setting a maximum of 2 months for preparation. I studied 1 hour every day and as much as I can during weekends. The way to prepare for this exam to pass from the first attempt is the following. First, cover the exam material and make sure you understand it deeply. Second, practice in AWS console for services you can provision. Third, and most important one, create visual solution architecture diagrams for the setup you learn while preparing. That includes transit gateway, direct connect, private link, hybrid connectivity with on-premises environment, etc. Creating those visualizations yourself helps develop a deep understanding. Also, the architectures stick in your mind much better, which is the key of passing this exam from the first attempt. Now let us talk about the topics that appeared a lot in the exam. First, organizational setup is a core subject. You should understand AWS organizations and how networking services integrate across multi-account environment. Also, direct connect was heavily covered, and you should expect that. You need to understand the different architectures, the VIFs, like private, public, transit VIFs, and when to use each one and why. You need also to understand integrating direct connect with site-to-site VPN connection for encrypted and dedicated traffic. Site-to-site VPN connection itself appears a lot in the exam. Transit gateway is another major topic, especially architectures such as centralized connectivity, traffic inspection, and hub and spoke networking. Private link is extremely important too. VPC peering also appeared frequently. Also, like cost optimization is an important topic. You need to know which services are free and which are not. For example, gateway endpoints are free. VPC peering itself does not have an hourly charge. Interface endpoints are not free. Transit gateway is not free. Once I started learning, basically I realized that there are some patterns that help identify many networking questions in the exam. For example, services that mainly rely on route tables for connectivity, such as gateway endpoints, VPC peering, are generally simpler and lower cost compared to services that provision managed network interfaces and attachments in the VPC. That's why gateway endpoints for Amazon S3 and DynamoDB are free, while services such as interface endpoints and transit gateway introduce additional charges. Another simple important concept is understanding when services are reachable from connected environments such as on-premises networks. For example, an on-premises environment connected through site-to-site VPN connection or direct connect cannot access S3 through gateway endpoints because gateway endpoints rely on route table-based private AWS networking and are not exposed through private IP addresses. But when using an interface endpoint for S3, the service provisions ENIs with the private IP addresses inside the VPC, which makes it reachable from on-premises environments when routing and DNS are configured correctly. So basically, you need to understand the logic, not necessarily memorize it. DNS and Route 53 were major topics in the exam. There were many questions around split horizon DNS setup, where you have DNS in AWS and DNS on premises and want to route the traffic correctly using private host zone and hybrid DNS architecture. The key component of this answer is the AWS Route 53 resolver endpoints. Another topic that looked minor to me while preparing but surprisingly appeared a lot in the exam is AWS Cloud One Wide Area Network. Also, there were many questions around the dual stack support, meaning supporting both IPv4 and IPv6. Here you need to remember what each service supports. For example, a site-to-site VPN connection or site-to-site VPN tunnel, to be specific, supports either IPv4 or IPv6 peer tunnel, not both simultaneously on the same tunnel. So, to support a dual stack, you need typically a separate VPN tunnels or connections. On the other hand, Direct Connect supports dual stack connectivity over the same connection. Also, there were questions around DNS query logging. And definitely expect at least one question around adding additional CIDR block to your existing VPCs. The question I remember was around adding IPv6 CIDR block to a VPC, and the correct answer was the AWS provided IPv6 CIDR block. This is basically the option to select from the console. Application load balancer, network load balancer, and gateway load balancer appeared in many questions. For example, remember that application load balancer access logs are delivered to S3, not the CloudWatch logs directly. That would help you solve at least one question. Gateway load balancer and network load balancer especially appeared a lot in the exam. Basically, this is an exam for them. And you need to recognize the use cases for each one. And of course, the exam is not limited to those services, but those were the dominant ones in my experience. Now, talking about the courses and study material, I studied using Udemy course by Stefan Mark. Great material. It's around 36 hours long, and it is such a dense course. After that, I solved practice questions by Stefan Mark and Nail Davis practice questions too. Then I moved to AWS Skill Builder, where I solved the official practice questions. Now coming to time management during the exam, it is 65 questions within 170 minutes, which is like 2 hours and 50 minutes. The time was enough, to be honest, even considering I am a slow reader. I finished the last question in around 160 minutes. That gave me enough time to review some flagged questions. As always, do not spend much time on questions you are not sure about. Choose the best answer, flag the question, and move on. The questions were between moderate to long in length. There were also a few short questions with short answers. I always love seeing them in the exam. So personally, I found the exam absolutely doable to crack from the first attempt if you follow the advice I shared earlier. What is next? That was my 6th certification in the last 4 months in 2026. And yes, it is the last one, yeah. Now I'm looking forward to getting my golden jacket during a fancy ceremony held by Amazon during AWS Global Summit in June 2026. As you know, I am AWS Global Ambassador. So I'll share with you another video soon about the roadmap to the golden jacket with zero wasted efforts by passing all the exams on the first attempt. Let me know if you have any questions and share your experience preparing and taking AWS Advanced Networking Specialty Certification. That's it for today. See you on the next video where we talk about the golden jacket recipe. Salam.